We are going to be learning this week about prefixes, and also we're going to be learning about prefixes next week, but we're going to be learning about suffixes the 2 weeks after that. So I thought we'd spend just a few minutes just doing a quick review about prefixes and suffixes. So how Greek and Latin has influenced the English language. Let's talk a little bit about that. Many of the prefixes, suffixes, and roots in the English language can either be attributed to the Latin, a great deal of French included, or the Greek language. Because of the Germanic influence on English, there are many Old Middle English, Old Norse, and Dutch influences as well, but we will mainly focus on the Greek and Latin ones. The changes in the English language are sometimes hard to keep track of, but one way linguists, people who study language, find it easier to understand its complexity is to take it apart. So let's become linguists too and take a look at affixes and roots. An affix is a letter or letters added to the beginning or end of a word. When the letter or letters is added to the beginning, it is a prefix. When it is added to the end, it is called a suffix. A prefix, an affix placed before a word, base or another prefix to modify a word. Here you see a big list of common prefixes used in the English language, but there are many, many more. Please make sure you take the time to read this list of common prefixes. As I said, this is not a complete list, but this list will come in handy when you are trying to find prefixes and trying to find the definitions and the meanings of prefixes when you do your assignment next week. So make sure you refer back to this list when you are working on your assignment. Here is a list of common suffixes used in the English language. And again, this is not a complete list, so there are very, very many more of these. As I said, this is not a complete list of suffixes, and also note on these lists there are some good examples for each of the prefixes and suffixes on these lists. So again, when we get to the part where there are some suffix worksheets, you'll want to make sure you refer back to this list to help you answer some of those questions. Prefixes and suffixes both change the meaning of words. So in this chart, you can look and see how a word can undergo different meanings when a prefix or suffix is added. Go ahead and look at some of the examples on this list of how when you add a prefix or you add a suffix, you can actually change the meaning of the word. Now we're going to delve a little further and practice, okay? We're going to look and see if we can find which word means to assist or to be near a doctor, or to give first aid in the absence of a doctor. And then we're going to see if we can figure out which clue helped you figure it out. So as you're looking at this chart, you're going to try to see if you can find the meaning that matches to assist or to be near. That's the first thing you're going to want to do. Okay, you should have found that the correct answer is paramedic. The clue that should have helped you is that the prefix para means near. Hopefully you already knew that the word medic means one who is in the medical field. If you didn't already know the word medic, then you might have had to look that word up when you're trying to figure out unknown words. You might have had to look at that base word medic to try to figure that one out. Let's practice again. This time we're going to figure out which word means made of gold, and also how do you know? So see if you can find the meaning of which prefix or suffix means made of something. Okay, the correct answer is golden. The clue that should have helped you is the suffix en, which has the meaning made of. So then you would have known that that was golden. Okay, can you think of any other adjectives that have the suffix en to show what they're made of? An adjective that I thought of that ends with en that would show that something is made of something would be wooden. On this one, we're going to try to figure out what does affordable mean and how do you know? So in this one, it's a little bit different. In this case, you're trying to look at the word affordable, and I'm going to look at the suffix at the end of the word affordable, which is the suffix able. So I'm going to see if I can find that suffix on my list, and I'm going to look and see what the meaning of that is. And it's even listed in my examples. It says that it means is or can be. So now I'm going to look at the base word, which is afford, so that is A-F-F-O-R-D, and I'm going to think, oh, okay, so affordable must mean that it can be afforded. I could afford it. Let's see if I was right. Yes, the correct answer is can be afforded. The clue that should have helped you is the suffix able, which can be. What other adjectives can you think of that have the suffix able to show is or can be something? One of the suffixes that I thought about you could add to measure is to make the word measurable. You could can be measured, so the word would be measurable. So that's our final practice slide for our prefixes and suffixes, and see how simple it really is. Most prefixes and suffixes were added from the Latin and Greek languages, with some from Old English. Once you become more familiar with the prefixes and suffixes, you can figure out many words without the use of a dictionary if you already know the root. When you don't know the root, it's a good idea to look up the word in an etymological dictionary, and you'll find the word origin along with the definition.